Yo, what's up guys? C-Jax back with another Smackdown recap, and I actually gotta say, this episode of Smackdown was good until it was garbage. Now, obviously, it's possible to have a good 20 to 30 minute segment of a show, but when 3/4 of the show is not good, then that's how you know the show in totality will be remembered as trash. Just want to say real quick, this episode started off with Jacob Fatu just like super kicking these security guards and beating the crap out of them, which this was pretty funny, I'll give you that. It was a good start to the show, and it was pretty entertaining, and it was absolutely random, so this was cool. We started off, though, with LA Knight versus Andrade for the US title, which this match was actually pretty good. Now, obviously, LA Knight came out and got a massive pop. He got a pop that would make you think that, like, John Cena came back or, like, The Undertaker showed up or something. This dude's pops are getting louder and louder each week, but during the match, man, the physicality, the spots, I mean, I just think that it was very, very good. The selling was very good. LA Knight did a couple botches. There was a couple botches in this match, I'll be honest, but, I mean, other than that, most of the match was pretty much flawless, and it was a very smooth match that was really cut down the middle. Like, at some points, Andrade was close to winning, and then some points, LA Knight was close, but ultimately, LA Knight pulled through and retained. This was entertaining. It was a very good way to start the show, and this was better than, honestly, any match that was on Monday Night Raw, besides, I guess, maybe, like, Bianca and Io was very good, but this match was also good. No need to compare, and at the end of the day, LA Knight, actually, this match didn't get interrupted by Carmelo Hayes like I thought it would. However, once you got backstage, Carmelo Hayes had one of the funniest segments I've ever seen. He was using TikTok brain rot humor, and this dude pretty much says, "Hey, Andrade, nice job out there, but put the fries in the bag, bro. You're washed." Like, Carmelo Hayes is actually hilarious, man. This segment really, really put him back on the map, dude. The fact that this dude is using, like, TikTok lingo and, you know, like, the new generation's humor in a WWE segment is very good. And they actually had a very, like, realistic-looking brawl. The selling was good. The physicality was great. Andrade's a really good physical wrestler, man. The crowd was even kind of cheering for him during his match versus LA Knight as well, which was cool. So, we're going to get Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes part 5 next week, or part 6 next week on Smackdown, so, you know, that's going to be a surefire banger, but, yeah, hopefully this actually leads to something like a Bad Blood match or something else, but, you know, if not, it is what it is. This feud has been pretty cool so far, and this backstage segment was awesome. Then after this, you got Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. They did a, like, very cinematic and unique, like, video. It's like 8 to 10 minutes, and it was actually kind of interesting. You know, Cody brings up the fact that he told Roman before WrestleMania 39, he brought up that promo where he was like, "You will be a chief without a tribe," and once he did that, I thought that was very cool. You know, he brought that up. Roman brought up how he lost everything. He lost Jimmy. He lost his wise man. You know, he doesn't have Jay. He doesn't have his Ulafala. And, you know, Cody Rhodes was like, well, then what does that make you now? You know, and I thought that question was pretty good. There was a couple decent lines of dialogue from, you know, good old libations. Wheatly, I drink it neatly, which they got 5 commercials for during this show. And, you know, Cody Rhodes actually did an okay job during this segment, but it was a cinematic thing, so it was pretty cool. Roman and Cody were pretty cool here. I thought the segment was pretty decent for what it was. It was basically just a substitute for, you know, them not being on the show, so they had a great little, you know, or not a great, right, because this segment's going to get called Peak and Amazing, but it was really just a, you know, a backtracking of all their history together. Cody talks about how Georgia is his home, and Roman's like, Georgia is my city. You know, they clash on that, and then Cody Rhodes asks Roman, will you have my back? I need your word that you will have my back versus the Bloodline. And Roman says, yes, you have my word, but you're in my way, because Cody steps up in his way, like in front of him, and then Roman says, you're in my way in life. And he tells Cody pretty much that after they're done this whole stuff, he's coming for the WWE Championship, man. So we can definitely expect to see Roman versus Cody part 3. I'm not sure if it'll be for the title or not, obviously, but it'll still be very interesting because, I mean, it's Cody and Roman. Their feuds have been pretty good so far. I mean, the last 2 they did main event at WrestleMania, and they were pretty awesome. So I think this will be good, whatever next program they do, but it's unfortunate that they couldn't be at SmackDown, like, in person. I mean, Cody Rhodes showed up at the last second of the show, which, again, I don't know why your WWE champion is showing up with 1 minute left in the show, but, again, who cares? But, yeah, this segment was cinematic. It was unique. I give it points for that, and the dialogue in the promo itself was actually pretty decent. So, overall, this was a solid little segment here. Then you got absolute nonsense and garbage the rest of the night. And the garbage starts here with Bayley and Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. This match was slow. This match was boring. And by the end of it, this match was actually full of botches too. I need to add that in. But by the end of it, it was straight up meaningless. You had a couple good spots where it was like Tiffany Stratton doing like a neck breaker from the top rope into a Samoan drop from Nia Jax. You know, Naomi had a pretty good like face plant move she did on Nia Jax as well. Which again, you see I'm using Nia Jax in the context of her taking a lot of hits and damage this match, that's because the booking sucks. Nia Jax is supposed to be the big annihilator, this monster of a woman's champion, but she gets pinned in this match by Bayley and Naomi, and that sets up a dilemma, which I'll talk about in a second. But this match specifically, honestly, just seems pointless to me. Is it going to be a feud between Naomi and Bayley, or is it going to be a feud between Bayley and Nia Jax? Make up your mind. I don't want to see a Naomi versus Bayley match next week when these two literally wrestle. Every match they do nowadays is wrestled in slow motion. They move slow. The conditioning is not good. They botch a lot of moves. We saw it in the match tonight. Bayley just doesn't move like she used to move. Same thing with Naomi. I don't know what happened, but this is just the reality of the situation. And Tiffany Stratton was even moving a little bit slow. Nia Jax looked a little bit off. This was just a very botchy and just shoddy match. It was very shoddy, man. Everything was slow. It wasn't balanced. The selling was good in some parts and good in others. There was a good spot, and then it would be followed by a botch from Naomi where she just like missed a move or was slow, and you could hear like Bayley calling at her like in the match, like, hey, help me with this, do this move, do this, do this, do that. And Nia Jax even calling out moves too. Like, it was just a sloppy mess of a match that leaves you with another meaningless match, because why in the world are we doing this if we were just going to have Naomi versus Bayley take place next week to decide who's going to fight Nia Jax anyways? This is nonsense, and it's getting annoying now because it's like, okay, Tiffany Stratton goes out there to just be a second fiddle to Nia Jax, and she's going to end up eventually just usurping Nia Jax, but Nia Jax looks like a second fiddle in every match she's been in. Versus Michin, she needed help from Tiffany, but then Tiffany looks like a second fiddle. She needed help from Tiffany at SummerSlam to beat Bayley, but then Tiffany still portrayed as a second fiddle. Stuff like this doesn't make any sense. And speaking of this Triple H booking where it's like everything gets dragged out 8 months and we just get the same thing over and over again with, what's that word called? Convoluted booking. That's just dumb. And it continues with this Vinci stuff because this is also stupid. First he loses in 3 seconds. Now he loses in 3 minutes. It's like, what are we supposed to do with this? Like, seriously. Giovanni Vinci is a jobber, and they have officially buried him. What are you going to say about him now? He comes out, he doesn't really get much of a pop at all. He gets barely any reaction, and then he comes out, and this whole Italian warlord, this mob boss gimmick he had is just gone now. It's gone, because he comes out and loses in 2 minutes, and then just attacks Apollo Crews, and it wasn't even a good attack. He wasn't even good. He fake kicks him, which if you zoom in, when they did the camera angle for this, he clearly missed the kick. He missed the big boot, which is just dumb. But then also on top of that, what's his name? Apollo Crews is a jobber. So you can't beat a jobber in 2 out of 2 matches. Why would we care about this dude anymore? He already doesn't get a reaction from the crowd. He was off TV for like 5 months, and nobody really missed him or cared about him. I'm sorry, but guess what? Giovanni Vinci, you're going to AEW, pal. Like this is just the story of this dude. He's going to AEW, and the booking is the excuse are going to be, oh well, the long-term booking. Just wait, man. He's going to have something for Vinci to do, bro. Just give him a chance. Just give him a chance. Just give me a chance. This isn't Spider-Man 3. What about my uncle? Did you give him a chance? Did you? Like, come on, man. This is ridiculous. So yeah, this match was, I honestly thought it was nonsense, and I don't know what they're doing with Vinci, and I really don't know what they're doing with Nia Jax as champion, because it seems like they're just wasting our time and wasting their time as well. Then after this, I'm pretty sure you had, Kevin Owens, after he saw the Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, their little segment they did, he was basically upset, it looked like. He was like faking like he was upset, because he's like, oh, well, I did all this for Cody and helped him out, and then he turned on me. Like, nobody cares, dude. If you're not going to have Kevin Owens turn heel, which, spoiler alert, he doesn't by the end of the show, they do another fake thing where he's like standing behind Cody and then doesn't turn on him. It's like, what is the point of this? And even if Kevin Owens does turn on Cody now, instead of it being like a 2 or 3 month feud, it can only be like a 3-week feud now. Because when he does the heel turn, they're just going to do a one-off match at like some pay-per-view like Crown Jewel or like Saturday Night Main Event or something like that. And that's going to be it. Kevin Owens will never get another WWE title shot, probably for the rest of his career at this point with his age. And that's it. His last WWE title match is just going to be a match where he pretty much knows he's going to lose in about 15 minutes, and the storyline leading up to it could have been much better. That's how Kevin Owens is being booked, and it's annoying and it's boring now. It just is. It's that simple. In his promo, he's about to say what he wants to say about how he feels about what Cody did and how he's helping Roman versus the new Bloodline, and then he gets cut off by Tama Tonga, who... I don't know what's wrong with this guy. Like, I really don't. I mean, he comes out and he's like, like he's like an engine revving up. That's what he sounds like, a Lamborghini revving up. Like, this dude is weird. And then he comes out and basically says, the Bloodline got embarrassed last week, so now we're gonna take out our anger and we're gonna beat you up, oos, in orders of the real tribal chief, Solo. And that's it. That's all this is. And then Kevin Owens gets help from DIY, which WWE has given up on DIY, which I don't blame them for. I mean, DIY is a bunch of jobbers, and nobody really cares about DIY, so, I mean, why would you? DIY, honestly, is going to end up in AEW just like Vinci, and honestly, just like Nia Jax or Bayley in a couple months if this rate continues with their booking and with their in-ring quality. Nia Jax actually exclude that. Bayley might be going to AEW because, you know, I don't know, man. She just isn't doing a good job right now, but that's not the point. The Bloodline pretty much comes out and attacks DIY and Kevin Owens. DIY won the tag team championship belts and then lost them 3 weeks later to the same team they beat them for. No, they beat Waller in Theory. That's right, my bad. I forgot about those jobbers too. They're probably AEW bound soon as well. A lot of AEW going on right now, guys, and that's not it either. Because not only did DIY win the tag belts in 3 minutes and then lose them, win the belts and then lose them in 3 weeks after they won them, they also are basically a victim of the same thing the Street Profits are a victim of. They get announced for a match versus the Bloodline, it gets canceled, or they go out and job. They get a match the next week, it's versus the Bloodline, they go out and job. The next week, they're supposed to get a match like DIY was tonight, and they get attacked and killed backstage. And that's it. That's it. What are you supposed to even say about this at this point? DIY has been given up on by the WWE. They're jobbers. They get barely any reaction. And WWE would not lose a penny if this duo left the company. They wouldn't lose a penny. I'm pretty sure they signed a couple new tag teams anyways. All these tag teams do the same thing. That's literally all they do. The only ones that actually separate themselves with promos or with character work is obviously Bloodline related stuff, which usually involves Roman or the Usos or something like that. Or the Street Profits I think are very good, but again, they're the victim of the same stuff. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins are two of the best athletes in WWE. As big as they are to be able to move like that and to sell like that and to do these aerial moves and these great moves, these physical moves, and then all of that, just to be jobbers and lose to the same Bloodline group every single week that they're on TV, which isn't even every week that they even are on TV. It's sad to see this talent just go to waste. So guess what? Street Profits, you're going to AEW. You know what I'm saying? This is like the AEW raffle giveaway. I mean, that's what this is at this point. So that was this match. They have a match later where it's Kevin Owens and Street Profits versus the new Bloodline. You already know the new Bloodline. I mean, this is just a DQ match, and then afterwards it's a big brawl all over the place. And then Cody Rhodes comes out with 1 or 2 minutes left in the show, and Kevin Owens is standing behind him with a chair. Is he gonna turn on Cody? Is he not? Is he gonna turn on Cody? Is he not? And then he doesn't turn on him. And at this point, it's stupid. I don't even care if Kevin Owens turns on Cody anymore, because you've baited us enough to the point where I don't care. It's just like my brother brought up a good point while we were watching Smackdown. He brought up the fact that Otis and Chad Gable, they had a bunch of moments just building up to this big moment where we thought Otis would beat the crap out of Chad Gable or fight him in a match or do something against him in a promo segment. And all he did was just push Chad Gable down in a random episode of Raw. And the crowd gave him a good pop, but then we never saw anything from Otis and Chad again. That's exactly what this is probably going to be. Kevin Owens will lead up to this basic heel turn, and then eventually he might end up doing it, but by the time it happens, no one's going to care. And it'll just be used for a 2 or 3 week build-up for a one-off match where Cody wins in 15 minutes. Clean. That's what's going to happen. And therefore, I don't care about this storyline, and I don't care about anything that really happened in this episode, except for the Roman and Cody stuff and the LA Knight match and the Carmelo Hayes and Andrade feud. SmackDown literally has 2 or 3 good segments, and I didn't even mention this. Chelsea Green had one of the worst segments I've ever seen in my life. This video package where she's playing in the trash can, trying to talk about a match that's going to happen with her and Michin in 2 weeks. It's going to be called a trash can match. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about Michin. Nobody cares about Chelsea Green. So stop it. Just stop. It's corny. It's annoying. Chelsea Green is basically the equivalent of Liv Morgan or like Tiffany Stratton on the mic. Their voices are just annoying and they have the same gimmick. It's just like, you think you're going to beat me? Well, why don't you calm down? You're nothing compared to me. I'm so much better than you. Like, what? It's the same character. You might as well just put them all in a faction and just call them the same guys. You know, the Variants or the Pure Fusion Idiots Collective. You know, to differentiate them from the Pure Fusion Collective, which also sucks. So, this episode of SmackDown was garbage. I don't really understand most of what happened, and I don't know why it happened. And honestly, most of it was boring, meaningless, or it straight up was botched, or it just wasn't good. But that's what happens with SmackDown. They give you one decent episode, and then a couple good segments to start off the show, and then all of a sudden it just crumbles and becomes a garbage heap. So yeah, I'm done. I'm pretty sure you're done as well. So that was SmackDown. I'd give this episode like a 4 out of 10 max. The only reason it gets a 4 is because the first 30 to 40 minutes was actually above average. It was solid. But then after that, it was garbage. So actually, I'm going to go a 3 out of 10 on this one. But let me know what you thought about SmackDown in the comment section below. And I hope you guys have a phenomenal day. Deuces. Ooses.